the first time you see me get mad in an interview. They said that George Lucas's prequels are worse than the corporate-made Disney Star Wars.
I'll get mad at that too.
Like
that's fucking ridiculous.
Revenge of the Sith. We saw how Darth Vader was made.
Yeah.
Like I watched that like 10 times during COVID.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Like, don't jump, Anakin. No. I got the high ground.
Those early movies were pure.
And I'm sorry, Disney Star Wars design team. I know you're gonna like put my face up in the, office and be like,
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm gonna have 6, maybe 7 videos today, so make sure you check back early and often on the channel. Lots to talk about from over the weekend. Also, as we push to 1 million subscribers, there's a red subscribe button down below. I hope today will be the day I earn it. So, click it. Click it. Click it. Click it. Click it. Thank you. I mean, I didn't mean to get angry with you, but thank you. God, we got to make 1 million by the end of the year. We're so close. Anyway, Kanye West was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was a interesting 3-hour conversation, to say the least. Most of it was actually pretty difficult to follow. There were several good nuggets in there, however, and most interestingly, Kanye West, who is actually a big sci-fi fan and a big fan of Star Wars, absolutely destroyed Disney and for what they did to the Star Wars franchise, hilariously and in a way that only Kanye can. So this via Deserto, we're going to look at a couple different takes on this because we've got Deserto and Bonding into Comics, as well as basically everybody who covers Star Wars covered this, and Kanye's 100% right on this. Kanye West's interview on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast is definitely a marathon, but it's one of the most interesting stretches in the rapper's opinion on Star Wars and what Disney has done with the franchise. On October 24th, the highly anticipated JRE episode with the man known as Ye was released despite fears earlier in the week that it would be canceled or delays after a member of Rogan's staff fell ill. Yeezy talked at length about how he's been called to be the leader of the free world, but he also brought up Star Wars movies several times and made it very clear he was not a fan of the Disney trilogy. Smash like for Kanye West. I mean, look, I know he's got his issues, and maybe I'll discuss that in a separate video today. I'm not sure. I find it pretty rough. Like, I'm actually torn that Joe even had him on. You just don't know where his mind is at. He's obviously he's come out as bipolar. And you can really tell the way his mind works, having just these rapid pinball thoughts, and he's just reaching out to kind of grab them. But some of them are absolutely profound. Some of them are bizarre, like being called to be the leader of the free world. He's obviously very religious, so a lot of the ways he talks is rooted in biblical scripture and things like that, which is, for some people a little intimidating. He goes on to say, "This is one thing I will say, and it's about to make me mad right here," they said, "that George Lucas prequels are worse than the corporate-made Disney Star Wars." Kanye West seethed. "Revenge of the Sith? We saw how Darth Vader was made. Like, I watched that 10 times during lockdown. Don't jump, Anakin. I got the high ground." Rogan, apparently a Star Wars purist in his own right as well, was definitely on board with Kanye, with what Kanye was laying down. I'll get mad at that too. It's ridiculous. The original 6 movies were superior, Ye argued, because they were original ideas straight from the mind of George Lucas himself, instead of people rehashing an old concept, which he explicitly criticized Disney and Pixar for doing quite often instead of taking a chance. Dude, he is... Kanye is 110% correct in this take. It's the same movie rehashed over and over and over again. is the same remakes. They're so far out of ideas that they're doing live action remakes of movies like The Lion King, which, in their defense, made a ton of money, but Mulan didn't. Now, granted, lockdowns was a thing, but I have never been inspired to want to see a live action remake of a cartoon. Never. He goes on to quote, "Every time there's a new idea, they call it an unproven idea," West said about Disney and Pixar. "So they'll get to story 800,000 and Frozen trillion before there's ever a new concept and they take a chance." 100% correct. And you could say this of the entirety of Hollywood, for example. Kanye's passion for sci-fi series might be surprising, but some can definitely be considered, but he can be considered a hardcore fan to say the least. This is back on 2008 on the set of Alligator Boots. These memories. Here's Kim Kardashian posting this out on 2015. You got Kanye as a stormtrooper. You've got the Leia costume, which looks excellent on her. Besides taking inspiration from the universe Lucas created for his clothing and architecture projects, he also met his wife, Kim Kardashian West, on one of the first times he was filming a Star Wars-themed skit with Jimmy Kimmel back in 2008. This particular argument against the new Star Wars films is certainly not a new one, and Kanye will have no trouble finding those who agree with this take. But we wouldn't count on this changing how Disney operates, even if it is coming from the future leader of the free world. Well, ha ha ha, yes, Deserto. Let's dunk on Kanye for some of the crazy things he said. We've all said some crazy things, and hey, honestly, I'd be willing to bet Kanye believes what he's saying. I believe he believes he has been called on to do this. And to be honest, who am I to speak against him? I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what he believes. But he's obviously on point with Star Wars. You can see bounding into comics saying, like many Star Wars fans, rapper Kanye West believes that the prequel trilogy films are better than the, quote, corporate-made Disney sequels. Appearing on Joe Rogan, Kanye West shared his opinion about the prequel films were superior to sequels because they were written and directed by series creator George Lucas in a moment that the rapper declared to be, quote, the first time you've seen me get mad in an interview. The critically acclaimed rapper went on to express his disbelief that some fans said George Lucas prequels were worse than the corporate-made Disney series, and pointed to the canon-defining events of Revenge of the Sith as an example of the prequels trilogy's importance and quality. West's love of the Star Wars prequels, particularly the above-mentioned duel of fates between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, is no secret, the rapper making references to those moments in two different songs. In 2005 song, "Gone, I'ma open up a store for aspiring MCs, won't sell 'em no dream, inspiration is free, but the ever flip sides like Anakin, you'll sell everything including the mannequin." The opening verse of his latest 2020's "Na Na Na" similar features the lyrics, "Next time you text, can it wait? You're talking to a presidential candidate. You know, I know you think Obi-Wan getting tired now. Don't jump, Anakin got the higher ground." And as the discussion on Star Wars came to a close, West asserted that the prequels are better than anything. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Disney Star Wars design team. No, man, this is George, West concluded. This is his baby. That's the thing that was set in his heart to show us as children, the hero's journey. And that's exactly correct. I mean, ultimately, Disney has removed the heart and the soul of Star Wars. They have instead delivered us yet another Mary Sue, low risk, low reward series of movies that are set to, they're designed to make money, not to be great films. That's the number one problem I have with not just what Disney's done with Star Wars, but what Disney's done with the Marvel films. I am not really interested in where Marvel is going now. There's no stakes. It's just the same formulaic movie over and over and over and over again. Sure, it'll sell popcorn and soda. Sure. And for me, I'll get around to watching them someday, honestly. Like, now that I can't see Black Widow in a theater, will I pay $20 to watch it at home? Nah. Definitely not. Would I wait and watch it on like Disney Plus if I had like a free preview? Yeah, maybe. I don't really feel like going to a theater and paying $50 to see a movie that isn't going to have any real stakes, that isn't going to really put anybody's lives at risk. I mean, one of the most powerful moments in Marvel history, okay, in history, was an Endgame where you have Hawkeye and Black Widow fighting over who's going to sacrifice themselves. And ultimately, I don't think I'm spoiling anything, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, sacrifices herself to get the Infinity Stone, okay? Now, what's the very next Marvel movie that comes out? Black Widow. Like, you didn't even have to worry about losing the character. Like, I understand that maybe not everyone will agree with me, but I think as elements, the element that made Game of Thrones great for me for the first 5 seasons was that you could at any time lose somebody that you were totally invested in and they weren't coming back, although some did. And that's what made that show great, in my opinion. Even early seasons of The Walking Dead, you would lose a beloved character and you'd say like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. Herschel, for example. But then once you kind of get away from that, there's really no reason to get emotionally invested in anybody. There's really no reason to react to anything. You knew Rey's life was never at risk because she's the Mary Sue. She's going to make it to the end so Disney can not sell her action figures. I hope you enjoyed this video. I 100% agree with you, Kanye, on this one. We'll talk to you again real soon.